So I'm taking the floor. Good afternoon, buongiorno, dobar dan e dobrodošli. Director of the Office for the International Affairs of the Ministry of University and Research in Italy, and I will be your chairman during this afternoon session dedicated to the title From Castillo to Theatre, Attached to Born, Teramo, Lubiana, and Novo Mesto, an academic partnership to promote a sustainable cooperation for development. Because the format of the online conference requires the maximum of synthesis, I will not take so much time, and I will give directly the floor to His Excellency Monsignor Lorenzo Leuzzi, Bishop of Teramo and Atri and promoter of the conference. Please, Monsignor Leuzzi, you have the floor.
Grazie, grazie Federico, e saluto davvero di cuore tutti voi che avete aderito a questo momento importante per noi, la diocesi di Teramo-Atri, assieme con la Slovenia, e vive un momento di grande gioia perché venerdì pomeriggio ci troveremo in piazza San Pietro e sono molto contento che l'Università di Teramo abbia accolto l'invito e anche abbia fatto proprio il desiderio di vivere questo momento creando e favorendo, promuovendo un gemellaggio universitario tra l'Università di Teramo e l'Università di Lubiana e di Novo Mesto. Ma prima ancora desidero ringraziare l'arcivescovo di Lubiana e l'arcivescovo di Novo Mesto per questo momento di comunione ecclesiale. Io spero che questa esperienza che vivremo in piazza San Pietro dall'11 dicembre al 10 gennaio possa essere una grande occasione per vivere altri momenti di impegno apostolico, soprattutto per l'attenzione al mondo giovanile e della cultura universitaria. Ringrazio i rettori dell'Università di Lubiana e di Novo Mesto e insieme a loro gli ambasciatori che davvero danno grande significato a questo momento, perché l'evento che vivremo questo pomeriggio si inserisce nella più ampia progettazione di collaborazione nella cooperazione internazionale, di cui l'università è parte integrante, anzi direi deve diventare sempre di più parte attiva per promuovere un nuovo sviluppo, così come Papa Francesco più volte ci ricorda, soprattutto nella sua ultima enciclica Fratelli Tutti. Ecco, io davvero sono molto commosso nel vedervi tutti riuniti e è stata un'idea che ho condiviso con il rettore di Teramo, che subito l'ha accettato insieme al dottor Marrapodi, e io sono davvero molto contento e mi fermo qui per ascoltare e soprattutto per vivere un momento di comunione tra la Chiesa di Teramo e le chiese della Slovenia. Grazie di cuore e spero che con molti di voi ci vedremo in piazza San Pietro venerdì pomeriggio.
Thanks to His Excellency Monsignor Leuzzi. Grazie Monsignor Leuzzi come sempre per mettere sempre insieme la cultura, l'università e la fede come degli elementi inscindibili. And I will give the floor to His Right Reverend Monsignor Stanislav Zore, Archbishop of Lubiana. Your Excellency, your floor. You must open the microphone, Your Excellency.
È meglio? Ci sentiamo adesso?
Very good.
Grazie per essere insieme, riuniti in questo momento di collegamento tra le 3 chiese, poi 2 università e così via. Un cordiale saluto allora a voi, cari vescovi, poi onorevoli eccellenze, magnifici rettori, carissimi professori e quanti collaborate a questo convegno internazionale un po' specifico tramite le net. Viviamo un momento che è profondamente segnato dalla crisi dovuta all'epidemia. Tutto il mondo è imprigionato e aggrovigliato nello spasimo delle misure di contenimento con le quali gli esperti e i governi degli stati stanno cercando di limitare la diffusione del virus al fine di custodire la vita di quanta più gente possibile, proteggendo allo stesso tempo altri dal contagio. Importante è riuscire a cogliere nel momento che stiamo vivendo dei segni di speranza o, come qualcuno forse direbbe, riuscire a intravedere la luce in fondo al tunnel. Eppure, anche in questo tempo difficile ed esigente, sperimenteremo il Natale, la nascita del Figlio di Dio nel mondo. Così come venne in quel suo preciso momento storico per ricongiungere la terra e il cielo e l'uomo a Dio, la sua venuta incoraggiò allora gli uomini ad incamminarsi gli uni verso gli altri, portandosi vicendevolmente il lieto annuncio. Anche noi siamo partecipi proprio di questo nel Natale di quest'anno. La provincia di Teramo è stata invitata, in virtù della sua lunga tradizione nell'arte della ceramica, ad allestire il presepe in piazza San Pietro. La Slovenia ha avuto la bella possibilità di collocare nella stessa piazza le vette di Natale. E in questa felice coincidenza lo Spirito Santo ha ispirato il pensiero che da questa unione tra Teramo e Slovenia in piazza San Pietro nascesse anche un collegamento tra diverse loro istituzioni. Saluto perciò con favore la collaborazione accademica tra l'Università di Teramo e l'Università di Lubiana. Semmai prima, oggi veramente sperimentiamo distintamente quanto siano importanti la collaborazione e solidarietà. Solo un impegno comune, una sollecitudine condivisa può esserci di aiuto nella ricerca delle giuste risposte alle questioni e alle difficoltà che questo tempo porta con sé. Potremo risolvere le sfide solo insieme, mai ognuno per conto proprio, perché, come più volte ha ripetuto Papa Francesco, siamo tutti nella stessa barca e nessuno può salvarsi da solo. Possiamo salvarci solo insieme. E per questo mi auguro che dalle iniziative sorte in occasione dell'allestimento del presepe e dell'abete di Natale in piazza San Pietro possano svilupparsi molteplici forme di collaborazione tra le due città e le due università. E voglio tutto bene a questo incontro e tutto quello che può seguire nei prossimi giorni. Pace a tutti.
Grazie Eccellenza Reverendissima Stanislav Zore, sia per averci ricordato le ragioni per cui siamo qui oggi, ma soprattutto per averci ricordato che il Natale è soprattutto il miracolo dell'incarnazione. E questo credo sia forse la cosa più importante da ricordare in un momento così difficile per tutti coloro che hanno fede e anche per quelli che non ce l'hanno. And now the floor to the right, Monsignor Andrej Glavan, Bishop of Novo Mesto. Monsignor Glavan, prego, a lei la parola.
Grazie. Care eccellenze, arcivescovo di Lubiana, nostro presidente della conferenza episcopale slovena, vescovi di Teramo-Atri, care eccellenze ambasciatori e gli altri ospiti, soprattutto dal mondo accademico. Un cordiale saluto a tutti i partecipanti alla videoconferenza, in modo particolare alla delegazione di Teramo. Attendendo il Natale nelle nostre case, faremo il presepe e l'albero di Natale, i quali ci ricorderanno che con la nascita di Gesù Cristo è venuta la luce per tutto il mondo. Questo è anche il messaggio del presepe e dell'abete di Natale in piazza San Pietro. Siamo un po' orgogliosi che già la seconda volta l'abete di Natale proviene dalla Slovenia, più precisamente dalla nostra diocesi di Novo Mesto. 24 anni fa eravamo presenti in piazza San Pietro in più di 4.000 sloveni per la benedizione del presepe e dell'albero di Natale, mentre ora possiamo essere collegati purtroppo solo per internet. Mentre si avvicina anche il tempo della presidenza della Slovenia nell'Unione Europea, esprimo il mio augurio che quest'albero di Natale possa contribuire a far conoscere in Europa e nel mondo la bellezza della nostra terra verde e ospitale. Possa annunciare che vogliamo collaborare alla costruzione di una fratellanza universale con tutti gli uomini e in modo particolare con coloro che soffrono diverse forme di intolleranza. Auguro a tutti di un santo Natale e un felice anno nuovo. Grazie.
Grazie eccellenza per gli auguri e grazie per aver ricordato anche questo elemento, the beautiful poetic tradition of recalling the nativity as initiated by St. Francis is really a poetic thought to be remembered in this specific context. Grazie per aver ricordato la tradizione del presepe iniziata da San Francesco, che è forse il più bel ricordo che potessimo fare in questo momento. And now I will ask kindly to the rector of the University of Teramo, Professor Dino Mastrocola, to take the floor. Dino, magnifico rettore, la parola.
Thank you, Federico. Thank you. It is a great pleasure to address my greetings to all speakers and participants to the virtual conference on Teramo, Lubiana and Novo Mesto, an academic partnership to promote sustainable cooperation for development. Many thanks goes to the dioceses of Teramo-Atri, Lubiana and Novo Mesto, to the rectors and all colleagues of the universities of Lubiana and Novo Mesto, to the embassies of Slovenia to Italy, of Italy and Slovenia to the Holy See, and to the Director General Development Cooperation of the Italian Ministry for Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. Grazie Giorgio. With whom the University of Teramo has strengthened a fruitful collaboration to promote a sustainable cooperation for development. A special thanks goes to the Professor Paola Pittia and to Don Emilio Bettini and everyone who contributed to the organization of this conference, and to our moderator, Professor Cinque Palmi. Grazie Federico. Last year, in the first African Universities Rector Conference, we hosted more than 30 rectors and delegates from African countries, and all the participants signed the Teramo Declaration within an international and multicultural framework. In this declaration, education, dialogue, and research were recognized to play a critical role in managing, safeguarding, and ensuring the respect for cultural and natural heritage and resources. Today's conference, in agreement with the Teramo Declaration, would like to promote a new partnership addressed to a sustainable cooperation for development, aware that this commitment cannot be limited to a purely functional promotion, but must fit into a new social project involving in particular the new generations within a multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary environment. Investing in youth is a prerequisite for building a sustainable future in line with implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. To achieve this, we need to invest in the advancement of education skills, development, capacity building, mobility and access to market, youth participation, and young people access to right. In tight connection with all local, national, and international universities and organizations, our university will continue to pursue the commitments as a keystone of one out of the mission of the Academy, a constructive dialogue on different disciplines and knowledge is necessary to support and promote a successful cooperation. Many thanks for your kind attention.
Grazie, magnifico Rettore. Thank you, Professor Mastrocola. Thank you especially for recalling the importance of the academic partnership in the Adriatic and Ionian region. On this regard, I'm very glad to say that according to the willing of our minister, and a financement coming from the Commission, Italy will start a new initiative dedicated to this partnership based in Venice that will have exactly the aim to facilitate the dialogue and the recognition of academic qualification and mobility in the Adriatic and Ionian region. I will let you know more as soon as the initiative will be finalized. And now let's give the floor to Professor Igor Papic. Professor Papic is the rector of the University of Lubiana. Professor Papic, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Thank you.
Perfectly,
Yeah,
Professor.
yeah. So best regards from Ljubljana. Dear distinguished guests, dear colleagues, dear friends, it's a great honor and pleasure for me to welcome you on behalf of the University of Ljubljana at the conference promoting sustainable cooperation for development. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our colleagues from the University of Teramo for organizing this conference despite the coronavirus circumstances. The University of Ljubljana is the oldest, the largest, and the most established university in Slovenia. Last year, we were celebrating the centenary. Beside the education, research, and knowledge transfer, we set also two strategic orientations: excellence and internationalization. By combining all these orientations, it is clear that we are strongly supporting international cooperation. I'm glad that during these unpredictable and worrying times, occasions can still be found to celebrate and forge connections. One of these occasions is also today's conference on a crucial topic of promoting the development of sustainability. I'm proud to see a Slovenian Christmas tree stand in St. Peter's Square in the Vatican. Beside the wonderful story of Christmas time, it tells also the story of Green Slovenia, and together with other trees highlights the value of and respects for wood and forests. The long tradition is also maintained at the biotechnical faculty of our university, at the University of Ljubljana, where natural resources form the basis for all academic and research disciplines. The faculty's focus on studying natural resources and their sustainable management ranks it among the important institutions any nation should have to shape and preserve its identity. Today we are joining our national identities into one to pursue a common goal, a better future for all. I believe there is strength in unity and that we can go furthest with mutual trust and an unshakable will. Thank you for inviting us to join you. I look forward to the remainder of this virtual conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Papic. Thanks a lot for your intervention. And now I will give the floor to Professor Karmen Erjavec, Vice Rector for Research of the University of Novo Mesto. Please, Professor, you have the floor.
Thank you. Dear distinguished guests, dear colleagues, dear audience, and thank you for the invitation to participate in this conference and to start the cooperation with the University of Teramo. I bring you warm greetings on behalf of our rector and the entire University of Novo Mesto. And thank you for the wonderful opportunity to speak to you at a time when the coronavirus changing the world before our eyes, when it's transforming an individual with threat and fear, where interpersonal relationships have changed, where the question who gets medical care and who does not become relevant. But the coronavirus crisis also forced us to question our values. During the crisis, it became crystal clear that we are social and spiritual beings with a strong desire and need to contact the other people for community, for communication, for transcendence. Especially now in the second wave, we have realized that we long for more than just the satisfaction of our physiological needs. We long for satisfy the need for belonging, friendship, contact, the extended family, and the needs for self-realization and respect, and for higher and deeper senses. Because human beings is not and cannot be only an object of exchange and merit, because human beings is much more. We are bearers of transcendent dignity, if I borrow the words of Pope Francis. Therefore, in this time, it is the most important to create new cooperation and new foundation for sustainable cooperation for development. And university partnerships offer different opportunity for international cooperation between students and academics and also wider society. Since we already work with the individual professor from the University of Teramo on an individual level, I'm confident that the formalized agreement we signed yesterday will not only promote research cooperation, but also student exchanges once the coronavirus crisis is over. This time, before the Christmas holidays, is like no other, just as this year was a year like no other. In this time of year and approaching a new and I hope better year, I wish you a moment of peace amidst the difficulties, connection with family and friends, even if they cannot be present in person. And I also wish all partners that we can further strengthen partnership and cooperation in the future.
Karmen, and with this intervention, we concluded, really thank you. We concluded the greetings, the introductory greetings from the bishops involved in the partnership and the academics involved in the partnerships. And now it is my honor and my pleasure, but I don't see him online. It is line Ambassador Sebastiani. Ambassador?
Yes, I'm here. Do you hear me?
Oh, yes, please.
Yes, yes.
Ambassador Sebastiani, we would be delighted if we could address with you a few words our meeting. Thank you. You have the floor.
My pleasure. Monsignor Leuzzi, Monsignor Zore, rectors, vice rectors of Teramo, Lubiana, and Novo Mesto universities, dear colleagues, thank you for inviting me today. We are living in an era of great transition, defined by some commentators as the year of chaos, or rather, one could say, the age of hybrid systems, where we can see operating side by side different economic and social political models stemming out by capitalism roots, but which often also combine antagonistic aspects. We are in fact in a transition historical phase, puzzled with its economic, political, and cultural multipolarity in search of a new stability, an era of great social-cultural transition, where concerns are often raised about the impact of globalization on people's work and life, on their families, on their communities. Many argue that the present model of globalization has caused, just to name a few, an extreme financialization of the economy, the weakening of income and social protection, the degradation of the environment, a progressive impoverishment of the middle class, and the polarization of wealth, especially in economically advanced countries. On top of this, the COVID-19 pandemic, which has not only triggered an unprecedented global health crisis, but also the biggest recession since World War II, adding over pre-existing weak global economic trade and investment progressive drift. The rise of protectionism and economic nationalism are undermining decades of expansive trade and foreign investments, putting the architecture of the Bretton Woods system at risk. But it's not only the Bretton Woods system in trouble. My country, as indeed the OLC and many other countries, do in fact share a great same concern about the constant and progressive weakening of multilateralism. A process that, in my opinion, started right after the fall of the Berlin Wall. I'm convinced that despite its complexity and difficulties, multilateralism remains the most suitable instrument for guaranteeing the democratic nature, the inner cooperation and peace within the international system to address multiple global challenges. It is fundamental to relaunch multilateralism in the face of the distorting effects of globalization, the retreat of trust in multilateral and regional fora, and the temptation of bilateral drifts from the part of many key players. It is important to reverse this trend if we want to overcome all kinds of inequality and exploitation and build a fairer society. More precisely, international cooperation is even more essential to ensure inclusive and balanced development. But we need to renew the culture and education themselves, promoting an integral humanistic culture that places at the center of focus the human person. Putting humanity back at the center sounds rhetorical, but it isn't. It's a real necessity. The acceptance of the 2030 UN agenda by 188 countries in 2015 shows that we are finally beginning to understand it. The UN 2030 agenda, as you know, incorporates largely the contents of the encyclical Laudato Si on the care of our common home of Pope Francis, same year. They show us, both of them, that everything and everyone are connected. Universities have a crucial role since they bear the task of educating young people to reflect about peace, democracy, respect for human rights as principles to defend, where acquired, as goals to be achieved, were not recognized or trampled. In this view, young people represent an opportunity as unique contributors and future leaders of successful peacebuilding efforts. The United Nations Security Council recognized, for instance, the importance of youth active participation in peacebuilding for the first time with a specific resolution in 2015 on youth, peace, and security. The document encourages governments, international organizations, and the civil society to actively engage younger members of the population as partners in shaping peace and security processes. It's also important to reinforce a concept we mentioned, that in a global world, humanitarian crises and conflicts require a comprehensive response and a multidisciplinary approach. In that effort, cooperation between university as well as national actors, as indeed the one between Teramo and the Slovenian universities of Lubiana and Novo Mesto, is a fundamental factor in providing culturally involved and at the same time sustainable educational model in the various real contexts, which include the capability to fully understand the historical, cultural, and social context. So let me conclude my intervention with the extraordinary message launched by Pope Francis with his latest encyclical letter on fraternity and social friendship, Fratelli Tutti, which invites all of us, people and institutions, to give our own contribution to build a better, just, and peaceful post-world COVID-19 world. And I cite here, I read, a worldwide tragedy like the COVID-19 pandemic momentarily revived the sense that we are a common global community, all in the same boat, where one person's problems are the problems of all. Once more, we realize that no one is saved alone. We can only be saved together. Thank you.
Grazie.
Federico, microfono. Federico, microfono.
Federico non ti ascolta.
Scusate, thanks to the Ambassador Sebastiani, our ambassador to the OLC. Thanks for recalling us the engagement of the Italian government towards the fundamental issues as peace, friendship among populations, and the academics as a fundamental glue of those by the way, I know that those will be some of the mainstreams of the activities that Italian government will bring, both in the presidency of the G20 that we will held already, and in the presidency that will held since January of the Council of Europe. So thanks again, Ambassador Sebastiani, for being with us. And now I will continue with the Italian delegation of the diplomatics, and I will give to the Excellency Ambassador Giorgio Marrapodi, the General for Development Cooperation at the Ministry of Affairs and Cooperation and Development. Giorgio, prego, a te la parola.
Grazie Federico. Thanks, Professor Cinquepalmi. Well, allow me to say that is a great pleasure to be with all of you today and to share this moment of rebirth, and that is a special moment. I wish also to thank especially Monsignor Leuzzi, but also the Archbishop of Lubiana and the Bishop of Novo Mesto for their charismatic example of reinforcing our confidence in never giving up our common work. I wish to thank also the rector of the University of Teramo, Professor Mastrocola, and his staff. Grazie Dino, grazie a te, al tuo team, for the dedication in pursuing international cooperation in whatever difficult circumstances. I thank also, because we have been building this panel over the days, and allow me also to say that I think that we are adding today a new chapter in our collaboration with the University of Teramo, keeping in our track based on education, science, and new technologies. And these are the three pillars on which I would like to focus my few words this afternoon. Those are means to respond to all essential challenges of our time. I see education as the way to grow our understanding and appreciation of the planet, developing respect for human rights, and a powerful accelerator for reaching the SDGs. I do not have to convince you that science has proven essential to show powerful ways to sustain our societies, and not only in this complicated year, as it was mentioned by the colleague of the University of Ljubljana. Still, we need to make science nearer to people, insisting on the positive effects of working together towards common goals. I do not need to dwell on the way humankind has gone through this pandemic. However, I want to remind that an unprecedented common efforts has mobilized unthinkable cooperation to find a way out of a global crisis through science, a common universal language. Thus, while science alone cannot solve problems, policy unanchored from science is for sure bound to create ones. Technology, the second pillar, holds some key tools to answer to questions we face today, from poverty alleviation to ensuring healthy and productive lives for all, to protect our environment and adapt to climate change. It is no use yearning for, longing for ancient or lost times, which are often imaginary. Technology has the power to lift from poverty or to increase the divide. It is up to us how we make use of it. Everybody can see which huge role and responsibility as academia in giving the instruments to young people to prepare for the future, and through international cooperation, sowing the seeds of mutual understanding. In the past 2 years, we have been working with Teramo and its university and investing in education along one of the priority lines of the Italian development cooperation. We have been collaborating with university across the other side of the Mediterranean Sea, with Africa. Dino Mastrocola was reminding us the forum with so many rectors and deans from Africa last year in 2019. The development cooperation set of priorities on which we base our action are in line with Agenda 2030 and the 2063 agenda of the African Union, and it goes without saying with the European Union founding values. Today, I rejoice in being here with our Slovenian colleagues. Another sea, the Adriatic, and common geography join us, let alone our intertwined history. It is indeed a pleasure to exchange views with our neighbors, sharing common values and objectives. As I mentioned, working with academia is an important contribution to a sustainable world. It is a recognized understanding that the real shift made by the 2030 agenda is in the concept of the interdependence of the SDGs, which makes the agenda itself indivisible. It is a concept that by now, 5 years into its implementation, is self-evident. There cannot be poverty elimination without achieving zero hunger. There is no reduction of inequalities without fair and universal access to education. There is no sustainable growth without gender empowerment and equal participation in paid and unpaid work, without respecting the environment. And eventually, there is no justice and no peace if there is not development. Thus, while we discuss today of the inter-university cooperation, we know that at the base of our work is a thorough effort to foster through quality education the prospects of one's life and self-fulfillment, which can contribute in the end to the development of peaceful, stable, and participatory communities and societies. The framework we have been working with, the University of Teramo, is an example of how we invest on dialogue and education in order to encourage good practices and mutual understanding, exploring the best ways to work together and to build partnership. I believe that the work started in Teramo is the realization of this inspiring line, starting from the local community, reaching out to potential partners all over the world in a dialectic exchange with global processes and adding on the previous experiences. I'm sure, and I conclude that among the friends who joined today for this conversation, there are many who can reflect how the encounter with others through inter-university cooperation has changed her life for the better. It is an enormous opportunity for young people and the greatest privilege for us to pursue a world that, paraphrasing the Canticle of the Sun, can be beautiful and radiant in all his splendor. St. Francis' words bring our minds, è bello e radiante con grande splendore, era la citazione originale. St. Francis' words bring our minds from the first nativity almost 8 centuries ago to the symbols that in 2 days will be brought in St. Peter's Square, with the nativity from Castelli and the tree from Kotzebue. We are all ready to receive and carry on a message of hope and trust. I take the occasion to encourage all of us to continue our important work together, and I thank you all, wishing safe holidays full of hope. Grazie ancora a tutti.
Grazie Giorgio.
Thank you, Ambassador Marrapodi. Grazie Giorgio, and thank you especially for recalling a saint that is very close to my heart, Tommaso Moro, probably one of the most intriguing figures of the Catholicism of the Renaissance, an incredible figure that recognized so much reflections on the role of conscience and faith in the modern times. Thank you, veramente grazie Giorgio. And now it's the time of the Slovenia diplomatic delegation, so I will be delighted to give the floor to Tomaz Kunstelj. His Excellency Tomaz Kunstelj is the ambassador of Slovenia to the Republic of Italy. Ambassador, you have the floor.
Hello, Excellencies, do you see me? Everything okay? Excellencies, bishops, distinguished rectors, vice rectors, dear fellow ambassadors, and diplomats, professors, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great privilege for me to contribute to this very substantial convention which united Teramo, Lubiana, and Novo Mesto. Let me congratulate Bishop Leuzzi, who brought us together and gave me the opportunity to present a Slovenian perception of the international development cooperation. In prav poseben pozdrav tudi vsem udeležencem iz Slovenije, ki ste se vključili v današnji dogodek. A new international partnership for development. We are living in particularly dramatic COVID, yet a very interesting time, which will leave an impact on our lives for the years to come. It is important to turn the challenge into an opportunity, and students, the generation of the future, must be motivated and able to see the opportunities ahead. Not only individuals, states and international organizations as well are asking themselves a question how the pandemic has and will change the world. There's no doubt that COVID is the biggest challenge of our time, and that it is an important test of international cooperation, global preparedness, unity, and solidarity. From where we stand, we should ask ourselves, what can we do to secure a safe transition and a better future? I believe that diplomacy, Slovenia, Italy, the European Union, the UN, etc., are doing and will be doing their best, but will not manage it alone. Civil society, all generations, and especially the young, should have their say. As these are global challenges, inclusive multilateral cooperation must stand at the core of the efforts. Nations must come together and cooperate, which will be impossible without charismatic leaders aware of the importance of the public and global well-being for the future of the planet. From the national point of view, Slovenia commits for the international development cooperation approximately 0.16% of GNI. Annually, it is about 77 million in 2019, which is still far for the internationally foreseen commitments of 0.33% by 2030. As a country with a limited diplomatic representation abroad, we contribute predominantly through multilateral organizations and funds, while bilaterally we mostly work with the Balkan region. Our cross-cutting priorities are sustainable management of the natural resources, especially water, good governance, and gender equality. In the domain of education, we try to contribute also with tuition fees for students from 8 recipient countries in the Balkans. We do work also with specific programs and projects which are mostly implemented by academia, hospitals, scholarship funds, and implementing agencies like Center for the European Future, ITF, Human Security, and so on. In Africa, we work very efficiently through Slovenian Caritas and with other institutions like Peace Institute and Forum for Equal Development. As you might know, Slovenia is in this 18-month a member of the trio EU presidency, and most of the agenda is dedicated to developmental issues, not only to the international development topics, but the internal EU development as well, as only a strong Europe can lead and contribute to the development cooperation overseas. What are our priorities for the presidency? Sustain a fair and social Europe, promote social cohesion, the rule of law, equality, human rights, and corporate social responsibility, while also incorporating lessons learned during the pandemic. Secure, transparent digital and green transformation that respects human rights, make digital progress in education, research, finance, and health, actively shape the future of work. Find a comprehensive frameworks for migration, and particularly for the illegal migration. We would like to prevent illegal migration and human trafficking in order to allow space for those who are in real need for asylum. We also want to address the root causes of migration and forced displacement. Of course, we would like to invest together with international organizations in innovative, sustainable, and smart economic transformation covering all world regions in need. A climate neutral and green Europe should lead by example and through its own development contributes and encourages the 17 Sustainable Development Goals and other development objectives around the world. In its trio plans for the EU Council presidency, Slovenia has seen development cooperation priorities mostly for the EU neighborhood, especially the Western Balkans, but is very much aware that it is Africa that holds most of the development challenges in the future, especially regarding the demographic point of view. In a multilateral aspect, we are particularly looking forward to cooperate with Italy, which will have a prestigious task in 2021 to chair the G20 and co-chair the COP26. We are every day more aware that we do need a new partnership for development cooperation among us, within the EU, among different sectorial domains, etc., in international frameworks, and with the developing countries bilaterally. On a global and regional scale, and also with intergenerational dialogue, we will have to jointly agree in the near future how to do more with less. For the time being, we, the international community, have, unfortunately, more questions than answers. How we can reach that goal? With the mechanism of debt relief, with extensive development of the health systems, with better education, with a more thorough crisis prevention, etc., etc. Dear honorable hosts and distinguished guests, colleagues and friends, it is for me a great honor and pleasure to be with you today, and I'm looking forward for some more exchange about international development challenges. I want to conclude with my warm wishes for a joyful celebration of the rebirth of life and the most healthy 2021. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, especially for the last wish that you all think about, and for recalling that it's important in time of difficulties to use the challenges, changing it in opportunities. It's probably the best mantra that we could bear in mind. And now, last but not least, let me introduce, for concluding this session, the Ambassador, His Excellency, the Ambassador Jakob Stunf, Ambassador of Slovenia to the Holy See. Ambassador, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Good evening, dober večer, and best regards from, as we say here in Rome, or as the Italians say, from oltre Tevere. Thank you very much, especially to Monsignor Leuzzi for starting this beautiful initiative. Hvala lepa tudi seveda gospodu nadškofu v Ljubljani in škofu v Novem mestu za sodelovanje. Prav tako pozdrav rektorju Univerze v Ljubljani in prorektorici Univerze v Novem mestu. Hvala lepa za vašo udeležbo in sodelovanje pri tem lepem simbolnem dogodku. So everybody had the opportunity to hear at least a few words in Slovenian, since we have been now for almost one hour hearing about cooperation, communication, mutual trust, solidarity. This is also about listening to each other, and I know sometimes it is quite difficult to understand all those different languages. Speaking about languages, allow me to use in the next few minutes also some Latin, because the official language of the Holy See, it's still, at least to a part, also Latin. And we have been listening a lot about change, profound change. And let me quote one proverb, very well known in Latin, of course, which says, "Tempora mutantur, et nos mutamur in illi," which means times are changing, and we are changing in it. Actually, we have to change, and we are forced to change. So this is what is life about all the time. And I was told a few months ago from somebody that one proof of this change, of course, is also this opportunity that we are now facing, this internet and this audio conference, because as everybody in academia knows, everything starts with cogito ergo sum. But now in these days, it is covido ergo zum. So we found new ways to communicate. We found new ways to see each other, to listen to each other, to be together, even from remote places, but nevertheless together. I will use some Latin at the end. So now I will stick more or less to English or to some perhaps Slovenian expression, but nevertheless. Many or few times at least some encyclical letters of His Holiness Pope Francis has been mentioned, of course, Laudato Si and also Fratelli Tutti. But in this year, it was supposed that we would witness two major events as well, and both became more or less virtual. One of them is a so-called Global Compact on Education. So, because the Holy Father wanted actually to put an emphasis also on the importance of education, and so he actually invited young people from all over the world to prepare the future, not just to prepare for the future, but to prepare the future. So to put their input in everything what is going on, and actually in this times when education clashes, as he said, with what has been called a process of rapidification, to use all the efforts, to use all the minds, actually to find some answers to the challenges of the time. And I'm sure, and you know it very well, everybody who is working at the university, that university has to be, is, and I hope so will be also in the future, the place to open hearts and minds of the young generations, and hopefully through them also from everybody else. Pope Francis also mentioned in this invitation to the young people and to everybody else that is involved in the process of education, an African proverb which says, it takes a whole village to educate a child. So everybody, or many of them, everybody of us is somehow involved in this process of education. Coming a little bit back to the Christmas tree, to the Slovenian Christmas tree that we are proud that it's staying at the St. Peter's Square, I would like to mention that we somehow wanted to show at least a bit of this intergenerational approach to be it to education or to any kind of work, also within the process of preparing decoration for the Christmas tree, which was actually carried out throughout Slovenia. Very many people have contributed their skills and knowledge, and so these decorations that are now decorating Christmas tree throughout the offices of the Holy See have been made really in this intergenerational process, and we are really proud of that. And it was also a kind of help in those days when we stay at home and when we are closed in our homes, so the people were able also to make some creative work also at home. There is going to be, at the end of this nice celebration at the St. Peter's Square, also a moment when the lights will come up on the tree. And we would like to use also this opportunity to show in a symbolic way also this intergenerational approach. I can tell you in advance, it is still a small secret, but I'm sure you will keep it for yourself. There is going to be actually 4 people that will join their forces. It will be the granddaughter of the first Slovenian ambassador that already participated at the same ceremony in the same role 24 years ago, when it was for the first tree, the Slovenian tree brought to the St. Peter's Square. And then there is going to be participating also our second ambassador or next ambassador to the Holy See, Dr. Ivan Rebernik, with his 2 grandchildren. So we will bring 3 or even 4 generations together to make and to bring this light, so to say, to all of us. Many things have been said. I will just not like to repeat many different aspects. Nevertheless, I will come back just for a few moments back to Latin. We have been speaking about tough and difficult times, and here it comes to my mind always St. Augustine. And he's saying, and I quote, of course, "Mala tempora laboriosa tempora, hoc dicunt homines, bene vivamus et bona sunt tempora. Nos sumus tempora. Quales sumus, talia sunt tempora." So, we are the times, and as we are, so are the times. In this situation, and also symbolically with this Christmas tree, Slovenia somehow wants to present our answer to this difficult or challenging times. Our answer is, let's be green, creative, and smart. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Thanks to all to all the diplomatics that was accepting to intervening in this session dedicated to the new International Partnership for Development. So once again, thanks to Ambassador Giorgio Marrapodi, to Ambassador Pietro Sebastiani, to Ambassador Tomaz Kunstelj, and to Ambassador Jakob Stunf. Thanks, because your intervention was really dense and important to the discussion. And now I will pass to the last part of our afternoon, dedicated to the role of the academia. And the three persons that will animate the discussion of the afternoon are coming from the three universities involved in this cooperation. I'm talking about Professor Paola Pittia, Magister Maja Slovenc, and Assistant Professor Dr. Nevenka Kregar. The first to speak will be Professor Paola Pittia, Vice Rector for the Internationalization of the University of Teramo. And she will treat the topic of capacity building strategies of the University of Teramo to promote the international cooperation for development. Professor Pittia, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. I hope that the presentation is starting and moving. First of all, let me thank Monsignor Leuzzi for launching this challenge to have this conference, this international conference, with, I mean, so many authorities and diplomatics, but also, I mean, it's always very difficult to have all of these different sectors sitting around the table. And in this case, thanks to Google Meet, we are somehow linked one each other. So this is was a very really important challenge, and we manage, even if we have to sort out some issues. And this also I would like also to thank the universities, the colleagues from the University of Lubiana and Novo Mesto for having accepted this challenge, because at least with the Novo Mesto we never been in touch, but nevertheless, I mean, this will be, as I mentioned in my emails, a starting point. So I really hope to have soon the possibility to visit also your universities. So let's start with the topic of my presentation is focused on the activities of internationalization and cooperation of the University of Teramo, which are highly focused on capacity building. And for this, I mean, I will be briefly introduce what are our main activities. I always like to launch this picture in my presentation when I give presentations at international levels, because in many cases the people don't know where is Teramo. So actually it's a way to show where we are. And actually I was also looking how far is Teramo from Slovenia or Lubiana and Novo Mesto, and actually I see that well, by car are 8 hours, but I'm sure that we will soon find a way to reach each other. University of Teramo is a small university in the landscape of the Italian universities. I mean, we have less than 10,000 students, and it was founded in 1993. And actually, the main missions are obviously focused on knowledge, to generate and transfer new knowledge, to contribute to the sustainable development in a national, international perspective, and education. We needed to, and we are committed to lead and to perform the formation of professionals in many areas. Actually, these activities, these missions are better highlighted here, where obviously are highlighted also the general missions of higher education, research, and the third mission, which is focused on outreach and engagement, in particular the ones which is related to the community and society engagement, like today here in this framework in which this conference is also organized. Last but not least, more and more we are somehow dealing with a fourth, we call them the fourth mission of the university, which is a cooperation for development. In this case, the aims are rather different in respect to a simple third mission, or a research or higher education is a different way at looking at the others and helping also and contributing in a global development of our society. In this respect, I mean, the University of Teramo, just briefly, is made of, is composed by 5 faculties in 2 main areas, humanities and biosciences, with this classification, let's say. But what is more important within this framework is the fact that even if we have 2 main areas, we work a lot together. We learn in these last years in particular to develop common projects, to promote interdisciplinarity, but also to implement more and more higher education projects and activities in a transdisciplinarity environment. Internationalization and cooperation. Actually, in this respect, the main activities are aimed to, internationalization is a transversal activity that covers all the missions. And in this respect, we are working on different levels at education, research, knowledge transfer, but more, as I was mentioning, capacity building, and with the different activities. As regards briefly, because actually I would like to give more space and time also for the colleagues from the Slovenian universities. Research for us is deals with the research carried out at the different levels, at the different faculties, funded by European international projects, but also and in particular with the international doctoral programs, in which interdisciplinarity is one of the leading aspects. Education and training, obviously we are a rather new university, but we try to promote a modern education with international landscape and opportunities for our students. We, even if we are in the center of Italy, where English is not a very common language, even if it's recommended for all the students to have it as a good background, we launched the International Master Degrees. We are working for double degree programs, and the one recent one is the ones that we launched in the Master Degree in Food Science and Technology. We are launching nice summer schools at international levels, and we work obviously with the support of the Erasmus framework for mobilities. Networking is for us important as well, because obviously we are a small university and we have to join forces. We are members of different networks at European and international level, and we try to strengthen the networking also by the use of Erasmus-funded projects. Capacity building, as I was mentioning, is one of the key elements for promoting our internationalization and cooperation. We recognize the importance of working together, joining forces to develop skills and competencies, give also added value in the production chain and our society, and also to promote innovation, because we needed to work and join all the forces to favor these main target goals. Here are just some examples of where we try to implement this approach. These are European and Erasmus funded projects, capacity building projects with the different countries all over the world, from the Southeast Asia, Armenia, Jordania, African countries, and so on. So in this respect, we try to develop together and share best practices for the benefit of all the community of our university, but our students as well. Another environment in which capacity building towards innovation is also supported is one Knowledge Alliance project, which is rather important and is developed in the food sector. In this case, and in this case, we try to join forces to promote also innovation in teaching, and this will be also then enlarged and made available to the partners of the project, but also open source to all in the interested people. Cooperation, as mentioned already by the rector, but also Dr. Marrapodi, is for us, for the University of Teramo, a key element to support also the networking and internationalization. Since 3 years, we organize the Forum Gran Sasso, the international ones, and since 2 years, we organize a conference, the African Rectors Conference, and for us is rather important because we have the opportunity to share needs, to share knowledge, and also to promote new opportunities for collaboration and cooperation. In the last one, that was not possible to carry out to hold in presence. We carried out actually virtually, and we managed also to reach at the end to a final report where, for instance, the youth digitalization and partnership have become for sure the relevant part of our future activities. Some examples of cooperation in which we have been investing since the beginning. Here are just some collaboration examples, like the ones we have, the collaboration we have with Burundi. This is on, voluntary basis. We sign an agreement with non-governmental organization, and we exchange students, but actually the students also from Burundi become a part of the community of the University of Teramo, and one of the first student from Burundi is now has just finished her PhD in Teramo. Other opportunities are ongoing, and from this point of view is an opportunity also to present you this small network of universities made of coming from different countries, Burundi, Congo, Uganda, and Madagascar, led by the University of Ngozi. And here we are trying to join our forces for future capacity building projects. So from this point of view is already an invitation to the University of Lubiana and Novo Mesto to try to find the way to collaborate in this respect. I think that all of you have also, Lubiana and Novo Mesto have different cooperation agreements, like we have with Cameroon, and this is just an example. We have just finished a cooperation project developed in Congo, in which we have been working to help and contribute to the sustainable development of a small community in the agro-food sector. What we will do in the future, and I really hope that this can be also part of the cooperation we will develop with Slovenian universities, is to implement and favor more and more internationalization at higher education level, trying also to implement new methodologies, not just talking in front of a Google Meet or our computer, but really setting and designing also new joint programs based on also specific needs. In this respect, the cooperation requires a great attention to sustainability and also cooperation in this respect. Capacity building will be continuing be a target for the University of Teramo, and in this respect we will continue to develop and also new projects in this respect. A main aspect will be also developed, will be the focus on the activities to promote entrepreneurial activities and also the skills and competencies of our students. Last but not least, research and development. In this respect, cooperation and internationalization may have a main role, and for instance, from the African countries, we received the request somehow to implement, to design and develop new departments of excellence to promote the exchange of knowledge and innovation. And this is just, an idea that maybe in the future we can also share with our partners all over the world. Important will be also the valorization of biodiversity, sustainability and innovation, looking at the Agenda 2030 of the United Nations. And thank you very much for your attention, and I really hope that from here onwards we will find the ways of collaboration, and I really look forward to visit you as soon as possible, as soon at least COVID-19 has been sorted out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Pittia. I will not make any comment, and I will speed up directly to the next speaker, Magister Maja Slovenc, advisor to the Rector for the Economic and International Affairs at the University of Ljubljana. The topic of her intervention will be internationalization and academic progress. Professor Slovenc, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, and buongiorno, buonasera a tutti. Good afternoon, and let me greet you on behalf of University of Ljubljana and thank University of Teramo to invitation to this conference. I would like to emphasize that both universities have been very successfully cooperating for 10 years in the field of research and exchange of students and staff. But today, I would like to tell you something about the process of internationalization at University of Ljubljana, which requires a new organization of work, build a new processes, find the additional finances, contains some or more obstacles, and find a way to interest employees to participate in the activities so university can be successful in achieving the defined goals. As our rector before said, we are a university with 101 years of tradition. Last year, we celebrate 100th anniversary. University of Ljubljana was established in 1919. Just last week was the 101 year of our birthday. We was established with 5-member faculties: Faculty of Arts, Faculty of Law, Faculty of Medicine, Technical Faculty, and Faculty of Technology. If you see the building, you know that it is the same, just more lighter, but we became, in those 100 years, very modern university, among top 3 in the world. We like to say that we are a comprehensive and research-oriented university, and we have now 23 faculties and 3 art academies, over 40,000 students, more than 3,000 international degree students, and 2,000 incoming exchange students. University of Ljubljana covered almost all study fields from art, natural sciences, technology, engineering, social sciences, humanities, medicine, health, also sport. And we have in academies, fine arts and design, music, theater, film, radio, and TV study. In 2019, we have over 8,000 graduates, over 6,000 employees, and our annual budget was over 350 million euros. We have 3 pillars of core business: education, research, and knowledge transfer, and 2 strategic orientations: quality and internationalization. And today, I will try to explain how was our way from 2014, when we adopted this strategy for internationalizations, with the vision to be recognized as internationally open, excellent educational and research university. We have a lot of strategic goals, and I'm proud to say that most of the goals were successfully managed to come in real, and the main goals were to increase the exchange of students, teachers, researchers, and staff, to form strategic partnership, to increase international research and also project cooperation. And we want to offer the educational programs, especially master and PhD, and also summer schools in foreign languages. We want to implement our educational programs abroad at other universities. And we want to foster doctoral school, to become creation of new knowledge, to have more international patents, inventions, licenses. And we also want to establish the international network of Slovenian scientists and researchers, and also scientists from abroad who work with the University of Ljubljana, and that they will be our international ambassadors. To begin with the process of internationalization, we have to reorganize our offices, mainly in the rectorate and also at faculties. We have 3 pillars. One is the pillar that support our educational process. This is the application service, first and second cycle study and doctoral school. The middle one is international relations. This is exchange of teachers, students, and staff. Then is the office for promotion, strategic partnership. We have career counseling service and quality assurance and analysis office. The third pillar is research. It is dedicated to research. This is office for research, who support administrative part of research project. Then project office coordinates European and other projects. Very important human resources service, public relations department, and knowledge transfer. About the education, when we want to go out with our offer and to invite foreign students in Slovenia, we have to also offer them some subject in English language. But here we have an obstacle, because Slovenian constitution tell us that we can teach in English language only those subjects which are also taught in Slovenian language. So this is very expensive, but nevertheless, we managed to gather about 800 subjects in English language. The degree structure is about the Bologna process. And we offer also the summer schools. As you can see, we increase the number of summer schools also in foreign language, mainly in English language. And we offer summer schools also for primary school students, because this is the great opportunity to give them a possibility to choose the University of Ljubljana for their study programs, and also for researchers, professors, and others. We wanted that students don't have a lot of problems, not just students, also researchers and teachers. So we offer Slovenian language courses. This is on free courses, Slovenian courses in more than 50 Slovene lectorates at universities abroad. And we have a very interesting year plus, we call it, because this is a 2 levels course of Slovenian language. Each level has 3 credit points, and students who accumulate after first year at the University of Ljubljana 30 credit points, included 6 credit points from the Slovenian language course, he can get 1 year of extension of the student status. So we then promote our study in Slovenia also with additional activities for all students, domestic and foreign, with tutorships, many extracurricular activities, sport, culture and art, social activities held, free workshops for additional career skills. We also have Ljubljana University Incubator with mentors who help for startups. Then we have some additional courses, summer school programs, possibility to exchange and research activities. Every student from the first year is included in the research projects. So you can see we have some interesting research projects, and we think that this is very good that students the first year or maybe second and third are included in the real life and the research. Then we have career centers. Career centers is very important for career counseling, for speed dating, to present our students to the employees. So they organize career camps, career days, and workshops, and this is all free of charge and available at all faculties for all domestic and foreign students. In Slovenia, we have some opportunities that are interesting for students, like student work opportunities. Every student can work during their study in Ljubljana. They have subsidized meals and transportation. Some of them can gain the scholarship. We have psychological counseling, student dorms, hostels, apartments, and we organize a lot of events, especially for foreign students, because we want to present them the sights and the culture of Slovenia, and events, whether they can present the food of their country, visit movie or theater shows, especially for them, excursions for hiking, skiing, and swimming. We have also open access and university repositories, specialized libraries at every faculty, and university repository together with all Slovenian public universities for their final works, research publication, and research data. We start promotion for study in Slovenia with the Slovenia as quality study destination. We are in the middle of Central Europe. Everything is very near. And we started with the government national agency who started with study in Slovenia. They help us with websites, with workshops, with fairs. all around the Europe and the West Balkan countries. We make promotion of our study also through the lectorates of Slovene language worldwide, and use for promotion also embassies, Slovenian embassies and Slovenian associations abroad. Here you can see some promotional activities, publications, flyer, brochures, promotion in foreign media. As you can see, this is the Platinum Italian media, Italian business review, and this is one ad just for getting the students from Macedonia in their special edition for starting the application. And this is the results of our efforts for internationalization. We have increased the number of international students, as you can see, in these 5 years of our strategy plan, almost doubled all foreign students. This is the bachelor, master, doctor, and all. And the total number is, this is the degree students. And this is the exchange students. The numbers are not so good. As you can see, the number of foreign students is higher than the number of our students, because like in Italy, our students are like to be at home with their mothers and be convenient, living convenient life. But nevertheless, the things are changing. We have some difficulties this year with coronavirus because a lot of our students who were abroad wanted to come back. We helped them. We also helped foreign students who were here, stay here during the COVID situation, during the current quarantine. Some of them became ill. We helped them also. And this was the real challenge for this year. And also doctoral study, as you can see, we manage that the figures are higher in the period of 5 years. Also foreign teachers and researchers, we have increased the incoming teachers and researchers, and this was the goal in our strategy plan. I can show you also the cooperation with University of Teramo. We have 2 Erasmus agreements. One is with the veterinary faculty and the other is biotechnical faculty. And we have already some student exchange. When we're talking about internationalization of research, we first look at what are the areas with the development potential. And as you can see, this is health, energy, advanced technologies, and quality of life. And for bringing more foreign researchers or to create more cooperation with foreign organizations, we started with the strategy for researchers' career and development. We respect European Charter for Researchers and the Code of Conduct since 2012. In 2013, we received the logo, HR Excellence in Research. We have 3 external evaluations, the last year, and every 3 were very successful. The present research focus is more than 4,000 registered researchers. We have also 370 young researchers and 16 postdocs. We have, according to our national agency, research agency, 168 long-term research programs and almost 400 national research projects. Every teacher at University Ljubljana is also involved in research, and we are very successful at European projects. And University of Ljubljana contributes almost 50% of all research results in Slovenia. University also rewards high-profile research achievements each year and also takes into account the international impact of this research. So you can see the growth of European projects from 2009 to 2019. This is the 10 years period. And these are the main projects that are included in those figures. As you can see, we have FP7 projects, Horizon 2020. We received also ERC grants. We have a Marie Curie project, Erasmus programs, 7 competence centers, and 7 centers of excellency. This is the cooperation with University of Teramo and University of Ljubljana. In research cooperation, there were 3 big projects. One is still going on. This is the project of food quality and food innovation strategy between University of Teramo and Biotechnical Faculty of University of Ljubljana. We have tripled our citation of publications in almost 8 years. So our people are keen to doing so. So the next goal was the University of Ljubljana should form strategic partnership worldwide. And also we achieved this goal. As you can see, we have a lot of agreements all over the world. The main area are exchange of students and staff, joint research activities, joint conferences, seminars, and courses, and also curricula. These are some strategic networks and partnerships which we are participating in. One more very innovative is this one view, Venice International University, which is not a university but consortium of 20 universities from all over the world, with campus on the island of San Servolo of Venice, Italy. And the Venice International University foster cooperation among new members institutions with the exchange of knowledge and ideas by developing, promoting, organizing joint academic research and training programs, summer school. And we were invited in 2018. And so far we have 2 teachers who have their lectures there, and a lot of some of our students also participate in the VIEW University. And we are very proud to announce the Utopia. This is the alliance, which was chosen in June 2019 as one of the 17 first winning projects through Europe in the New European Universities Initiative competitive call to build a European education and research area. This is the alliance of 6 leading like-minded European universities: VRI, University of Brussels, Cergy, Paris, France, Gothenburg from Sweden, University of Ljubljana, University Pompeu Fabra, Spain, and University of Warwick. We made this alliance in 2018, and transforming to an open, inclusive academy for 2050 creates a connected and inclusive community to address local and global challenges, ultimately contributing to a new model of higher education in Europe. And you can see how many unites is students, member staff, and international alumni is in this Utopia Erasmus Alliance. This is just that we were in 2017 on the top of EU Erasmus strategic partnerships, and one of the last goals was that the University of Ljubljana established this international network. We call it SMUL, international network, gathered together scientists, professors and researchers who graduate at University of Ljubljana or very important scientists which are working with Ljubljana, foreign scientists which are working in Ljubljana. We have about 2 sessions a year to exchange discussions, and the professors and researchers also exchange projects and students and other things. And we have a very successful alumni club with 58 clubs, more than 6,000 members, and going on because each year new alumni came. And what have we learned from this process? The internationalization strategy is the priority of management team. A strategy should be all the time monitoring, supervision, and evaluation should be made. People should have good central information. Sometimes the problems are sufficient resources, human resources, time, and the finance. This is the main problem. As I told before, we have some language obstacles because of this, our constitution, but now we are talking to put this diversion in our law for education, so we will not have so many problems. We have some administrative obstacles like resident permits and visas for foreign students, teachers, and staff. Also accommodation. We have too few dormitories. This year is no problem because all the Airbnb and other private apartments are free. But last year, when Ljubljana was crowded with tourists, there was a real problem for accommodation. But still, we are helping all who want to come to us. And one of the obstacles, I can't set obstacle, is that the different support at university members, because our 23 faculties and 3 academies has not just the same organizational structure, but then the offices at the rectorate help them. And nevertheless, I have to say that at 100th anniversary, the University of Ljubljana was for the 2nd time awarded by the President of the Republic of Slovenia with the highest national decoration, the Order of Merit for Distinguished Service. So this is what I can say, a reward. And I would like to say thank you for your attention. Stay sound and stay well, and buone feste a tutti.
Thank you, Professor Slovenc. And now I will give the floor to Assistant Professor Nevenka Kregar, Dean of the University of Novo Mesto. The title of the invention of Professor Kregar will be Internationalization and Cooperation Approach of the University of Novo Mesto. Please, Professor Kregar, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I will try to share now my presentation. So I hope you see it. Do you see my presentation?
Perfect, perfect. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. So, dear Excellency, Archbishops and Bishops, Rectors, Ambassadors, dear organizers, dear audience, it is my greatest honor today to present the internationalization and cooperation approach of the University of Novo Mesto at this conference. Well, in contrast to University of Ljubljana, which is the biggest university in Slovenia with honorable reputation and tradition of over 100 years, University of Novo Mesto is the youngest university in Slovenia, established in February 2018. We are located in southeast part of Slovenia, in a beautiful city of Novo Mesto with a recognizable old city center with capital church and surrounded by river Krka. Although our university is only in its 4th year from its establishment. The seeds were planted many years back, and the beginning goes back to 1997, when a high school for business and economics, so this is today a faculty of economy and informatics, was established as first higher education institution in southeastern part of Slovenia. In next years, the following faculties were established: Faculty of Mechanical Engineering, Faculty of Health Sciences, and Faculty of Business and Management Sciences. And these faculties, of course, were first established as high schools, and then developed in faculties, and these 4 institutions are founders of the University of Novo Mesto. This slide presents accredited study programs of University of Novo Mesto. So altogether we have 7 first cycle study programs, 6 second cycle study programs, and 3 fourth cycle doctoral study programs. Some of our study programs cover traditional, professional, and scientific fields, for example, nursing care, technologies, business and management, but some are very innovative and address especially sustainability of society and environment, like environmental management, phytotherapy, integrated health and social care, sustainable technologies and system on PhD level. In all study programs, of course, interdisciplinarity is very important aspect. And we build further development of our study programs on these pillars of professionalism, interdisciplinarity, and sustainability. Well, internationalization is one of main strategic goals of University of Novo Mesto and all university members. We built our international recognition through bilateral agreements, Erasmus exchange partnerships, research partnerships, and we develop also different strategies for internationalization at home to enable all our students to get some global and international spirit. Key strategic goals of internationalization and modernization, we have many of such goals written in our strategic documents, are aimed to strengthen international cooperation by organizing different forums of pedagogical and research cooperation, with major goal to give all our students any forum of international experience. So creation of a network of strategic partnerships is focused on education and research network, especially through international research project consortia, which facilitates also mobility of university employees, especially academics. Of course, this is with support of Erasmus program. As I said, we want to offer each student the opportunity to study abroad, or at least to be involved in international collaboration through collaboration in projects or teacher exchange programs. And we are, of course, very happy to host students from abroad, and we are happy that, glad that our university is being more and more recognized by foreign students, especially on postgraduate levels. The important aspect in planning mobility and other internationalization activities is emphasis on non-discrimination, transparency, and inclusion, which are major aspects of Erasmus programs also. As a very young university, we are putting a lot of energy in building our international network, which is for now predominantly spread across Europe. We have traditionally very strong connections with universities in Balkan region. However, the number of our partners from Eastern, Northern, and Western European countries is increasing, and the quality of these collaborations is developing in different pedagogical and research aspects. Recent Erasmus project we have with partners from Gaziantep University and TUAS University in Finland, and also today already mentioned capacity building projects are being developed among these partnerships, mainly across Balkan, and of course in collaboration with European partners from other countries. The basis of our international cooperation is student and teacher exchange, of course. The experience of students and teachers that were involved in different exchange programs enables also organization of roundtables and other forums of internationalization at home. And we are also preparing summer schools to bring students from other countries to Novo Mesto and to our university. The important aspect of research collaborations is interdisciplinarity. As university, we always aim to implement the results and experience from our R&D activities into our study programs. The research is, of course, focused on relevant topics. Also, for example, in studies of current epidemiologic situation, but through different interdisciplinary projects, we collaborate mainly with partners in the field of biotech and agriculture, so also in the field of biotech and agriculture, which is probably the cross point with Teramo University. Prospects for collaboration in this field are increasing also with our newly accredited study programs, phytotherapy and environmental management. Well, international conferences are important opportunity for building international collaboration. We are organizing 2 annual international conferences. The first one is Globalization Challenges in Social Economic Environment of EU, and the other, health-oriented, is Holistic Approach to the Patient, and we are organizing also other international meetings. So this was a short presentation of our activities, of our vision of internationalization and development in ways of cooperation and sustainability. And at the end, I would like to go back to the vision of our university. We believe that our internationalization strategy and activities will contribute to successful achieving of our vision and strengthen our position in national and international environment, and based on excellence, dedication, responsibility, and innovation, become internationally recognized institution in the field of education and research, and an important factor of in development of the social environment. So It is our sincere wish that further collaboration will arise also from contacts established on today's conference. We would be glad if we could find common opportunities, especially in fields of agriculture economics, engineering in agriculture, health in biotech sciences, or other fields where our research and development interests are crossing and could contribute to sustainable cooperation and development. I would like to conclude with greetings from our beautiful city of Novo Mesto, and as the last speaker on this conference, I wish you Merry Christmas and happy and also healthy 2021 with this photo of our students that decorated Christmas tree in the lobby of our university last year. Of course, this year such gathering is not possible. Nevertheless, Christmas tree is also one of the topics that initiated our conference because, as you mentioned, much bigger Christmas tree than this on this photo traveled from Kočevje to Vatican and is kind of link between Slovenia and Italy in this year's Advent time. So our Christmas tree is much smaller, but also decorated with love and best wishes for future. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Nevenka. Thank you, Professor Kregar, and thank you to the University of Novo Mesto. So we're running exactly on time. It's 5:30. So let me just add very few words for saying thanks to all the speakers that have accepted to intervene into our session dedicated to the bilateral dialogue between 3 universities and 3 dioceses in the spirit of the new nativities that will be held tomorrow under the Christmas tree offered by the Republic of Slovenia. If you will find a time for the delegation of Slovenia coming in Rome, I will suggest you to go to the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore, where it is conserved the first and real relics of the manger where the Holy Virgin deposited the baby Jesus. It's a very moving experience, and it's recalling to all of us that the Christmas moment, the incarnation of Jesus Christ, is a real miracle that must recall to all of us that Christmas is essentially a Christian moment. So thanks to all of you, thanks to participate to this session, and I wish you also on the Italian Ministry of University and Research Merry Christmas and a very joyful Happy New Year 2021. Goodbye.
Bye. Federico, just for one moment, because yes. I mean, we would like to take a picture with all of us, and we have our
just
staff. Yes, Monia is so smile.
Grazie di cuore a tutti. Buon Natale e speriamo di vederci venerdì pomeriggio in Piazza San Pietro e poi speriamo in Slovenia o a Teramo. Ci aspettiamo a Teramo.
Grazie a tutti.
Thank you very much. Everything is done. Thank you very much.
Grazie di cuore.
Perfetto.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you, Nevenka and all.